The story begins with Ymir, a frost giant from Niflheim, making his way to Earth on Monariki, wreaking havoc on opening the all-powerful casket of ancient winters and bringing about a new ice age. The Avengers have caught on to him and tried to stop him. Thor Odinson tries to reason with Ymir, but Hulk suddenly attacks him with a boulder, which is ineffective against a giant. Ymir fights back with ice shards aimed at the Avengers. Iron Man suspects the coincidence of Ymir on a remote island, where the sun is always shining, when he suddenly gets thrown into the air for being distracted. Reptile, a newbie hero, wants to join the fight, but Captain America orders him to stay off the battlefield and checks the boats for survivors. Captain Marvel scopes the battlefield from the air when she notices the casket in Ymir's hand. She attacks Ymir head-on with her powers, making him lose grip on the casket, while Hulk sends him flying with a punch. Meanwhile, Reptile notices Loki on one of the boats and tries to inform the others, but he gets brushed off. He decides to go rogue and confront Loki alone, but he catches Reptile off guard with a surprise attack. Loki then summons a wormhole in the sky, which sucks everything toward it. Captain America breaks free from the ice and attacks Ymir from behind with an icicle to his bum. While the Hulk hugs everyone else to prevent being pulled into the wormhole, Captain America goes after the casket. When he manages to retrieve it, Captain America gets pulled into the air but is caught by the Hulk. Reptile is also drawn into the wormhole, but he uses his powers to fly away from it when he suddenly gets knocked out when Ymir crashes into him. The wormhole closes once Ymir is through it, and Loki disappears while Reptile falls into the ocean unconscious. Hulk's shout wakes him, and he flies back when he is about to hit the water. Ymir returns to Asgard with Loki, who criticizes his plan, claiming that the sun's warmth on that island made him weak, hence why the Avengers easily defeated him. Loki claims that their plan was to open the casket of ancient winters in a remote location to avoid detection so that the Avengers would not interrupt their plans. Loki explains they need a new path of conquest as they have lost the casket to the Avengers. Ymir claims he has an idea and tells the story of Mjolnir, an ancient being that is part frost giant and part elf, said to be born with immeasurable powers. Instead of using his vast powers to rule, Mjolnir squanders them on helping the children, too young and weak to help themselves. Today, he's better known as Santa Claus, who uses his powers every winter to bring gifts to all children of the 9 worlds in one night, a feat only possible for him. Ymir also revealed that the Casket of Ancient Powers, a relic capable of transferring even the greatest abilities from one being to another, is rumored to be hidden in Alfheim, coincidentally the same place where Mjolnir makes his home. Loki thought a couple of misinformation and a reward would help flush out Mjolnir from where he was hiding. While they search for the ancient casket, Loki finds a giant dinosaur from another realm and teleports it back to Earth to distract the Avengers. At Avengers HQ, Captain America sternly trains Reptile in close combat, giving him irreplaceable fighting hand-to-hand. Reptile thinks of the training as punishment when Captain America explains that it's nothing but physical training and learning teamwork. Iron Man and Captain Marvel believe he is being too hard on the kid, but Captain America claims he's training him to avoid mistakes. Captain Marvel suggests that he will learn from his mistakes, but Captain America doesn't want to take any chances. While debating the topic, they hear some noise outside and wonder if Thor has returned from securing the casket in Asgard. They later check it out, only to discover a prehistoric dinosaur is going on a rampage in the middle of New York City. Hulk then charges the dinosaur head-on and punches it into the air, but immediately falls back again. Hulk struggles with the dinosaur due to its vast size, and he gets caught in its tail when he punches it. Iron Man thought of an idea that might work and calls in Reptile to transform his head into a dinosaur. When the rampaging dinosaur sees Reptile, it grabs him and starts licking. Iron Man claims he knew it would work, seeing that the dinosaur was a female, so its motherly instincts would kick in when it sees a baby dinosaur. Meanwhile, Groot and Rocket Raccoon are stranded in outer space after their spaceship breaks down. Rocket tries to fix it by himself, but it gets worse. They later receive a job to search and capture Santa Claus, presumably wanted for mass burglary, animal cruelty, and stealing cookies from kids. Rocket immediately accepts the job and flies to Alfheim after being allured by the promise of a hefty reward for completing the job. They later open a wormhole to Alfheim, where they find themselves in a gingerbread forest. Groot tries to eat a button of a gingerbread man when it suddenly punches him. Furious for being sucker punched, Groot attacks it and destroys the gingerbread. The other gingerbreads rise up and surround them, so Rocket and Groot go wild. When the beaten down gingerbreads rise up and combine to form themselves again, they take their chances and run away. They run into who they believe to be Santa Claus just because they are riding a sleigh. They later discover who they caught is Mrs. Claus, who thinks Rocket and Groot are old-time friends pranking Santa, so she brings them to meet him instead. They arrive at where Santa's house is supposed to be, but she claims they are a tad bit late as he has already left. Rocket and Groot refuse another ride with her because she recklessly drives her sleigh at high speeds. When they blurt out they have a spaceship, Mrs. Claus invites herself to drive their ship to Santa. She explains how Santa made it his life's work to give gifts to children and deliver the presents all in one night. When she suggested spreading the gift giving across weeks or months, Santa claimed he didn't want to make even one child wait for their presents. Mrs. Claus claims that Santa believes that the joy of giving is the greatest gift of all, to which Rocket and Groot then realize they had a wrong impression about him. Thor returns to Avengers HQ after securing the Casket of Ancient Winters in Asgard and informs Captain America of a peculiar story about how Santa Claus is wanted for bogus crimes. Captain America connects the dinosaur attack to Loki, intending to distract them. Thor suspects they plan to use the Casket of Ancient Powers to transfer Mjolnir's powers, which are coincidentally hidden in the same place where Santa Claus is. Iron Man explains that Santa Claus is not real, given the plausibility of Santa visiting all children's home in one night, making it a mathematical improbability. Captain America believes that Santa may have a power that allows him to do the impossible, and is determined to stop Loki and Ymir. When Thor claims that Heimdall refuses to open the Bifrost for humans, Iron Man suggests they use his experimental gateway to a portal to Alfheim, while Thor and Hulk stay behind to work on Plan B. If ever they fail to stop Loki and Ymir, when Reptile cannot make his case on why he should go, Iron Man suggests bringing him along would help with the mission, given that he is the only one on the team who believes in Santa Claus. Ymir and Loki went to Alfheim searching for the Casket of Ancient Powers. When stuck on where to start, they ambush Commander Aethidal of the Emerald Guards. Ymir uses his powers to restrain Aethidal while Loki interrogates him about the location of the casket. Aethidal guides them to the cave where the casket is said to be hidden. When they finally arrive at the casket's resting place, Loki wonders why they leave such a powerful relic unguarded when suddenly its guardian, the Jorah Kraken, emerges from underground and grabs Loki and Ymir when it perceives them as intruders. When Aethidal thinks everything is going well as he intended, Loki uses his powers to break free from the creature's grip and stabs his staff to the ground, making it docile against him. Aethidal charges at Loki, but Ymir uses his powers on him and freezes him against the wall. Loki then breaks the entrance to slow down the Avengers while he and Ymir escape through a portal of his own making. Captain America and the others arrive in Alfheim safely and find themselves in a cookie tree forest. When Reptile tries to bite it, they receive a cold welcome from Captain Maltiri and the Emerald Guards, who demand their commander's release. Iron Man attempted archaic talking, hoping to build some connection with the elves. When communications fail, Captain America and the others fight their way through against the Emerald Guard. Captain Marvel thought violence was not always the answer, so she used her powers to stop the fighting and explained they were friendlies fighting for the same side. Reptile convinces the elves when he shows genuine worry for Santa's safety. Malitri guides them to a maze of tunnels inside a cave where the casket is said to be hidden. When they felt the ground shake, Malitri suspects it was caused by its guardian, the Jorah Kraken, suggesting Loki and Ymir had found the casket. Captain America and the others were a bit late as they missed Loki and Ymir, while Loki left them the Jorah Kraken to deal with. When the Avengers struggle to defeat the Jorah Kraken, Commander Aethidal arrives and uses a unique whistle that calms down the creature. Realizing that Loki and Ymir are a step ahead of them, the Avengers assist the Emerald Guards in protecting Mjolnir. Although Aethidal refuses their assistance, Captain America insists on helping to claim that there is too much at stake not to do anything. Instead of going straight at Santa Claus, Loki and Ymir lie and wait while the Avengers get a move ahead of them, as he fears that there are more sinister traps lying in wait for them by the elves. The Avengers are later stopped by the Emerald Guards, equipped with their exploding arrows. When Captain America thinks words are insufficient, they fight their way through. Iron Man is hit by one of the arrows, whose suit's propulsion breaks down and he crashes to the ground. Using Iron Man as a boost, Captain America asks Captain Marvel to hoist him up using her powers on the shield. When Captain America reaches the hill's top, the Joro Kraken appears again to stop him. He runs towards the house but finds it locked, when he suddenly disappears after it senses them as intruders. With no way to reach Santa, the Avengers are stuck in a stalemate with the Emerald Guards, who have them at arrow point to keep them in place until Commander Aethadel arrives. Captain America thinks they need to fight their way through as the elves have no plan of listening to them, when Reptile speaks up and convinces them to put their weapons away. The others wonder why they listen to Reptile, when Commander Aethadel explains that they believe in children as they are inclined to tell the truth. He also added that the elves could sense if the person believes in Mjolnir, to which they claim Reptile is a firm believer, hence why they believe a word he says. They claim that it is already the time of giving, and Mjolnir is on his way to deliver presents to the 9 worlds, starting with Earth. When Captain America and the others have left for Earth, Loki and Ymir appear before the Emerald Guards and demand they guide them to where Mjolnir is. When they refuse, Loki used his powers to mind control them and followed the Avengers back to Earth. Captain America and the others make their way to the North Pole where they claim Mjolnir is headed. They later find Santa's house but discover it empty. So they make themselves comfortable and tell stories of how Santa gave them the perfect gift, except for Iron Man. Loki later shows up with the mind-controlled Emerald Guards and attacks the Avengers. When they thought they had things under control, Ymir traps them in ice. Out of nowhere, presents come shooting from above, thanks to Hulk, while Thor uses Mjolnir to destroy the ice cage that traps the rest of the Avengers. Loki sneaks up from behind them and holds Reptile hostage when Santa Claus shows up and brushes off Loki's measly attacks. Loki then uses the ancient casket to steal his powers, which he uses to defeat the Avengers single-handedly. He then traps the Avengers in a time-space rift, which renders all attacks useless against it. As the rift slowly closes in on the Avengers, Mjolnir breaks them free, claiming that as long as there's belief in Santa Claus, he will always have his powers. Although he's no match for Loki, who has just stolen his powers, the Avengers defeat him, using a coordinated attack from everyone. Iron Man confronts Reptile, claiming that he initially pushed to take him along to mess with Captain America, but explains that he was glad he did, as he proved himself to be a hero like the rest of them. With Loki restrained and captured, Ymir emerges from hiding and lashes out with his powers at everyone when Rocket and the others arrive on a spaceship and shoot at Ymir. With all the fighting finally over, Santa invites the Avengers for their help in delivering the presents to all children all over the world. They later return to Avengers HQ, where Santa presents everyone with gifts, even Rocket and Groot, who get a new spaceship they have always wanted. Loki and Ymir are forced to do manual labor fixing Santa's house. Groot grows into a giant Christmas tree filled with joy, while Hulk starts chanting Christmas songs. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos, and please make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.